We already know we got brother Eddie, one of the leaders on the City on the Hill. Please raise your hand, Eddie. And that was David that just led the prayer. And we got Chris. Raise your hand, Chris. Yes, sir. And big ups to everybody. You know what I'm saying? We got Tamara in the building, wifey. we got Audra in the building. What's going on, Audra? We got Stan in the building. Let me see. Is that my boy Marty? I think we got Marty in the building as well. So hey, we got a full night right now. It's going down, man. But once again, it's big up to everybody that's rocking with us. So tonight we'll be talking about Mark 4:35 to verse 41. Okay, so the topic tonight is called sleeping. Now, we're not talking about, I know some of y'all people, I know y'all love to sleep. I know I do. Let it sleep, relax, but we're talking about a different type of sleep tonight. We're talking about when Jesus slept at the bottom of the boat in the middle of a storm. But we're going to get into that in one moment. But so I'm going to go ahead and read this verse, and then we're going to go ahead and dive into it. We're going to bring everybody on, one more thing too. So tonight I'll be, so I put this in the WhatsApp group or the City on the Hill group, and I want everybody to think about a time that you felt like the disciples during the storm and your faith was questioned. So once I'm done reading this verse or these verses, we're going to pass this around, okay? And we're going to take it from there. We'll let the Spirit move. All right, so right now we're starting with Mark 4th chapter, 35 to the 41st verse. So that day, when evening came, he said to his disciples, "Let us go over to the other side, leaving the crowd behind." They took him along just as he was in the boat. There were also in the boats with him a furious squall came up, and the waves broke out over the boat, so that it was nearly swamped. Jesus was in the stern, sleeping on a cushion. And the disciples woke up and said to him, "Teacher, don't you care if we drown?" So Jesus got up, rebuked the winds, and said to the waves, "Quiet, be still." And then the winds died down, and it was completely calm. And his disciples said, he said to his disciples, "Why are you so afraid? Do you still have no faith?" So they were terrified and asked each other, "Who is this? Even the wind and the waves obey him." So before we pass this around, I just want to say this real quick. So his disciples witnessed him doing all these miracles. His disciples witnessed Jesus spitting on the ground, turning that to clay, and putting that on the blind man's eye. And the blind man was able to see. They witnessed Jesus healing the lame. They witnessed Jesus doing all these miracles. But yet and still, they still question him. After everything he did, they still question him. But, I got a lot more to go with this. But before I get into this a little bit more, I want everybody else's feedback. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to start this off. We got, hey, what's up, Marty? What's up, Kyle? I see you, Kyle. What's up, man?
What's going on?
What's going on, man? All right, so let's go ahead and start this off. Okay, so Brother Eddie, I'm starting with you, brother. So the question is, once again, so name a time that you felt like the disciples during the storm and your faith was questioned. Take your time.
Oh, my brother, this happens to me a lot, man. This is something that I struggle with. This is one of my biggest, my heaviest things that I have. Even now, I've witnessed the Lord do miracles even in my family. And then sometimes I still question him, bro. And it hurts my heart. Like I was telling Marty last week when he had mentioned the thing about knowing the more we know, the message was the more we know, the more it hurts. When we were in Ecclesiastes 1:18, and Marty had mentioned it in a way where the more we know about our sin, the more it hurts our Father. So that's one thing that I struggle with a lot, even to this day, where I still doubt, not that God is there, but I doubt what more he can do. And that's something that I really struggle with, my brother. That's something that I have to check myself constantly. Um, in fact, I was talking to my doctor today, and my doctor is not. She's not she is a woman of faith, but she's got a different type of faith, but she believes in God, but just not the Lord Jesus. And she told me the same thing too. She said, you know, when you're walking with God, the things that you have, you shouldn't fear them because God's got you. And when she said that, you know, I was like, you know what, you're right. You're absolutely right. And just like the disciples, how you just mentioned, Larry, they've already witnessed Jesus at this point do miracles, and still they were like, you know, who is this man who is this man, you know, that even the winds and the waves obey him. And sometimes I just feel like the mountain is so big, and I'm like, man, Father God, I don't know how you're gonna move that mountain. Not that I have no faith. Sometimes I feel like I have little faith, that's what hurts my heart, because then when he moves the mountain, I'm like, oh, I get it. You just blew on the mountain just a little bit, and the mountain disappeared. You know,
Yeah,
he didn't. It's not like he came and he picked it. It was a heavy mountain for him. It was light, bro. By the time he's done doing what he's got to do, I feel like he was just like, and the mountain just moved out the way. And then I'm like,
right,
oh, there you are, Father. Like, who are you that even the mountains just dissolve by just a tiny little puff of breath that you do? So it happens to me daily, brother. It's a struggle that I have. I still struggle with
right,
this on a daily basis when I pray. It's something that still hurts my heart when I'm crying. That's what I'm feeling. It's that pain that I still question my Father. Like, who are you? How are, not who are you, but how are you gonna do this, Father God? How are you gonna do this? You know, I tell you guys, and my mom was right here on the chat as well. So I tell you guys constantly that I'm praying for my sister's
Mama.
salvation. I'm praying for my sister's salvation. And that to me is a mountain that it just seems like an immovable mountain. It's like something I'm just like, man, Father God, I don't know how you're gonna move that mountain. I know you're gonna move it, but how? And if you're just telling me to have faith of a mustard seed, the size of a mustard seed, I have more than faith of a mustard seed, the size of a mustard seed, because I've already seen you work. I've already seen your glory, and I've already seen your magnitude. But this mountain is a huge mountain. How are you going to move this mountain? You know, to question my Father, you know, like how you said, you tell God your plans, and that's if you want to make him laugh or chuckle. You know, I know he's up there and he's like, bro, you have no idea. But to me,
Right,
down here on earth, it's a mountain, bro, and it's not even just like a single, just like a little two-dimensional mountain that we used to draw when we were kids. Not just that kind of mountain.
right.
This mountain has got like it's like a mountain that overlaps on top of each other, and it's just a big, huge mountain that I'm just like, man, Father, how are you gonna do it? But I don't know how, but I know you are. But still, my flesh is questioning you. So it's a struggle, brother. It's a struggle for me. And one day I will share a little bit more about that. But and I ask my Father for forgiveness every day. Every day, that's what I ask for forgiveness for when I say I've sinned against you, Father. I've sinned against you in the sense that I still question, I still question your magnitude. I know you're big, but for me to sit here and say, how big are you to move this mountain? That to me is a big sin in itself. So,
Okay, all right. Hey, I love the answer. And Eddie, I see you got the hair popping tonight. I see you. I see you. So okay, so Audra, you got anything you want to put in on this?
There's just a couple things that um one was my divorce 8 years ago that I just like, okay, God, this is what you said, and it's falling apart. But I continue to look to him, and I look back and looking at this mountain, and then I look back and it's a molehill because he took care of it. And then just with my health issues, um, over the last few years, it struggles. I question, okay, God, where are you? And why is this happening? but in the end, I just keep going back to my life verse, which is Romans 8:28, knowing that everything's going to be fine. And and like I said, there's times I see this big, huge mountain in front of me. I get over it. I turn back around, and it's just a little tiny molehill. The old saying, the old adage, you're making a mountain out of a molehill.
Yes.
Sometimes we tend to do that. We're
Yes.
all human. And as Eric was saying, faith is a mustard seed. A mustard seed is tinier than our little pinky nail. And
Right.
sometimes we don't even have faith like that. So, but yeah, that's basically it. And I have a whole bunch of other stories, but that's for another time.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. So, and who we got? Let me see. We can make sure we got everybody who we got in the building. Okay. And what's up, Stan? I see you, man. What's going on? All right. So go ahead, Chris. You got the floor, brother. What you got to say about this? Go ahead, clear your
Wow.
throat. Go ahead, clear that
Wow.
throat. You know what I'm saying? Let's go.
So, as I was really reading into the lesson and stuff, right? We know when we make our sin choices, the difficulties that we find, right? But when these disciples were obedient to what Jesus said. And looking at the background, we have fishermen in the background. And I know when I look outside and I see clouds, when the clouds are hanging low, you know what I mean? And I see rain clouds and I say it's about to rain and things like that, then I'm able to weather that storm. Like, I ain't doing nothing in the rain, right? But these disciples, Peter, Andrew, who are fishermen, these disciples didn't even question Jesus and like look at the clouds. They just went on to the boat. So they were not in sin. They were obedient to God's will. They were obedient to what Jesus was telling them to do. And I wrote down, frequently heartbreaking trials come your way when you're following God and experience an intimate fellowship with Him, right? And we be like, oh man, I'm reading the Bible, I'm doing your word, Lord, I'm doing exactly what you say, and yet my problems is coming. You know, how many times do we go through those situations? It's like, man, Lord, I know this is what you told me to do. I know this is the purpose that you sent for my life. Why is everything attacking me? I remember when we first put this group together, all four of us was attacked with some personal situation trying to distract us from bringing it all together. You know, and Jesus looked at the disciples and he said, man of what he say, man of little faith, right? Because Jesus was sleeping. Jesus was sleeping. He was like, and then they shouted. And I was talking to Eddie earlier. I was talking to Eddie earlier, and they were shouting, and they said, "Lord, save us!" Right? And that was, to me, they were okay if they would have just said, "Lord, save us." But then they said, "We're drowning." Right? Now you're speaking the negative into your life, and that's where Jesus, quiet this storm, peace be still. You know,
Yep.
what's wrong with y'all?
Right.
Your language is incorrect to me. Is what Jesus was trying to show you, and then he rebuked the winds.
Yep. Absolutely. And you know what? And even before, we got somebody else in the building. Is that Jeff? What up, Jeff? Welcome.
What's up, brother? How y'all doing?
Good, brother. Yeah, so before I get to Marty, Stan, and Tamara, before I get to y'all, I got to say this real quick. Okay, so to piggyback on what Chris was saying, so once before, so when they got right before they got to the boat, before they got on the boat, they probably was having, the disciples probably was having a real good time, chilling, like, what, we about to get in this boat, and we're about to just kick our feet up and relax and go to the other side. But they had no idea that a storm was brewing. They had no idea that the storm was brewing. And you gotta think about it. The disciples, I'm pretty sure they were tired too. They were tired, walking with Jesus, they were tired. So I say that to say this. That's when the devil gets you. The devil gets you when you're tired. And when I say tired, I'm talking about, Lord, I don't feel like reading the Bible today. Lord, I don't feel like praying today. I don't feel like talking to you today, God. And boom, that's when he creeps in. Just a little opening. Just a little opening. So when Chris said, when they cried out, like, teacher, don't you care if we drown? That was the opening that the devils found in, that snuck in. Because instantly, that was fear. Instantly, they lost all the faith. And the cool part about this is, you don't think Jesus was at the bottom of the boat, knocked out. You don't think Jesus felt that water on him? You don't think Jesus heard the storm outside that boat? You don't think he heard that? But what did he do? Sleep. So no matter what you're going through, at times, sometimes at night, you have a hard time sleeping. So you might pick up the bottle, or you might pick up some drugs or whatever, just to get you to go to sleep because you're stressing. You don't need that type of sleep. What you need to do is trust in Jesus. Trust in Jesus. And the storm that you're going through, give it to him. Because you got to understand, Jesus told the roaring wind, the wave, to be quiet. So you don't think what you're going through, he can't do the same with you? But I got some more notes. We're going to get into this. It's going down tonight. We just getting started. We just scratching the surface, baby. Let's go.
Hold on. I want to say something. I want to add
Okay,
to what you said. I want to add to what you said. I'm sorry, I walked outside. I want to add to what you said as far as when you get to that point to where you don't feel, oh man, God, I don't feel like reading my Bible today. It's funny you said that. Last night, I literally had something that was given to me. I was going to wait. I wanted to send it to y'all in a group that I was waiting until we have Bible study. It's funny because of the hat you're wearing. It says Lakers. I just so happened saw this thing about Kobe Bryant. And the first thing they said about Kobe Bryant is, you never had to question where he was. He was always at the gym. Everybody going to the club, he was at the gym. Right. Everybody was going home to go to sleep, he was at the gym. It just made me think on a spiritual level, if we want to get better and inbred ourselves in the Bible, where should everybody always know where we're at? You're not at the club, you're in your Bible. You're not out there playing basketball. Now, it's not saying don't have your free time with your family and do, but that extra time, that idle time, where should you be? You should do exactly what Kobe did to be a better basketball player, is what we need to be better stewards.
That's cool.
For Jesus. Something I had that I just wanted to share.
That's cool, Stan. I like that. I like that, man. Yes, sir. All right, Marty, go ahead, brother. I got you, David, and I got your wifey. You coming up next. How I see you.
And as far as my faith and stuff like that, since I came to the Lord, like most of you, I shared it with you. It's fairly new, it's about to be a year. I got saved in May of last year. But for me personally, I feel like I've been already through the darkest dark. You know what I mean? It was real ugly where I was before. So now everything to me is a blessing. So I don't know if I'm gonna go through things, but through my faith now that I have, man, it's been pretty strong. And I'm grateful for. I guess I'm not really grateful for the past, that it's making me so easy for me now to have that faith, you know what I mean? Because it's strong now, like everything's a blessing for me, just being free, like I told you guys before, it's like, man, it's just God has me here for a reason, I could have easily been gone for the rest of my life, and I'm here, you know what I'm saying? And I take that like, man, like that, it's like that's amazing for me, you know, just from my background, you know. But when things, I feel like we have things inside, like God already planted all this stuff inside of us, like all these, all, you know, we're supposed to be fruitful, so He has all this stuff inside of us. So it's up to us just to arrange all these things that He has built inside of us. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I work on every day. You know. So it's funny that you said that. You guys said that about prayer, because today I was just thinking about that. And Saturday I went to a Bible study, men's Bible study, and he's the guy that holds the Bible study. He slipped and he didn't pray that day, and he came unglued. But I've been thinking about it, like every day. I try to, like in the morning, I try to have my prayer, you know, my little time with God, just to, and I always ask Him, you know, to make this day, you know, fruitful for Him, you know, and me as well, you know, to help me grow, you know, to get closer, for my Bible studies, for my things that I'm going through. So I keep those close to my heart. And yeah, you know, things do come my way, you know, don't get me wrong. But I know that the things that come my way, just like Eddie was saying, man, those are, man, that it's like an ant to him, you know what I mean? It ain't nothing, you know. So I just feel like with that helps me out a lot, man. You know, like I haven't got to that point yet, but I'm sure, you know, hey, that, you know, it is gonna come, you know, because we all go through things like that. I'm pretty sure, you know. So, but so far so good, man. You know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Hey, I appreciate that, Marty, for sure, man. And if you just tuned in, you know, once again tonight we're talking about, the topic is sleep, but we're talking about Mark 4:35, verse 41. And so the question is, right now, think about a time that you felt like the disciples during a storm and your faith was questioned. Go ahead, David.
Sorry, it's a little slow to turn off the mic. Well, I think it's like I don't know. I mean, I think having faith is almost like I don't know. It's like a conscious decision, you know, every day. I feel like, for me at least, I think like probably every day, like at some point, I kind of have some doubt, you know. I don't know if I'm answering like correctly, but like with the situation that a couple of you guys know that was a few days ago, um, that didn't even that wasn't even too big of a thing for me. But you always get like that split, like, is this, am I doing the right thing? Am I I don't know, am I not focusing enough on, am I focusing too much on God and taking my mind off of, like, you know, the everyday stuff, the everyday life, you know. Is I'm having a little bit of a hard time coming up with the proper answer because of the thing that I was just telling Eddie and Chris about. But I think it's, I don't know, I think it's normal. I think it's natural to have those kinds of thoughts, where you're unsure, you know. And the popos are just rolling back in. I can see them pulling into the parking lot right now. But I don't know if that answered. If I don't think that answered your question too well, but I don't know. Tell me what you think. What you think, Larry? What you think of what I said?
You know what? Think about what we talked about a couple of days back. What happened? And one thing you told me was, I'm not gonna worry about it.
Yeah.
Right? And what did you do that night? You slept like a baby.
Yeah.
Why? You put everything in God's hand.
Yeah.
You said, I'm not gonna worry. So even having that thought at that moment, despite what was taken or whatever, all you said was, I'm not gonna worry. And you slept like a baby that night because you put everything in God's hand. But that was your storm that you were going through.
Yeah.
That's that storm that you were going through. And you still trusted God enough, it didn't even phase you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you slept like a baby,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, and like anytime there's whatever issue comes up, you know, be it whatever kind of issue, you know, again, I think it's normal to at that moment. Maybe it's normal to me because I'm still like new to it, you know, but it's normal at the moment to have some kind of fear or some kind of doubt or something. But every single time afterwards, it's kind of like obvious as to why whatever was happening, you know, for me at least. I'm gonna have to hop off the Zoom for a second. You can come.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Perfect. All right. Go ahead, Kyle.
All right. I was a little late, but I think I got the gist of what you guys were talking about. I guess as like someone new in faith, like I went as a kid and straight off, whatever. Now I'm back. But something I've been trying to practice a lot more is like having that faith for God, and it's definitely something I didn't have before. Usually, like if a storm came my way, something maybe I was worried about, or whatever the situation was, it was hard for me to let it go, and I would just worry and freak out about it, thinking that there was no answer for it. I guess now, being a new believer, I've been trying to practice just giving it all to God, and that's something that's like actually I feel like helped me a lot in my life lately. You know, like a few months ago, I was dealing with like relationship things, didn't know if it was gonna work out, um, financial issues, things like that, and just giving it to God has helped me tremendously. Like I feel like nowadays I still worry, you know, I still have anxiety about things. I still whatever situations come up, I might freak out at first, but now it's like I give it to God. I give it to God. I get in the Bible. I don't know. I feel like my faith is just growing each and every day, especially with like these Bible studies and when I was going to the men's group, I've been slacking lately. I ain't gonna lie, but
Brother.
um,
All right.
yeah, man, I feel like things have changed a lot. I feel like now it feels like I don't really stress like that as much anymore. Like it comes, you know, when it comes, but and I might freak out at it first, but now it's like I give it to God, and He always provides an answer later
Yeah.
when least expected.
Yeah, man. I mean, like it really feels good to be like, even though, you know, storms come, you just give it to God and, you know, let it be. You know what I'm saying? All that stress, man, that stress kills, man. You know, so I totally get it, brother. Good answer. All right. All right, Jeff. You want to go ahead, brother?
Also, Larry, Chris has his hand up, okay?
Okay, for sure. I see him. Yep. All right, Jeff, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. So you got something you want to say, brother?
Oh, you
You
guys are
know,
talking about just
let me, you know, 1 second. Let me repeat the question one more time for you. I don't know if
okay.
you, I don't know
I
if you
don't
heard
think
it.
I got the question. Yeah. I was just soaking in everything everybody was saying though. It was blessing me, you know, but I didn't really catch what you guys were talking about.
Yeah, so like, you know, like I said, the topic tonight, we're talking about sleep, man. And so it says, think about a time that you felt like the disciples during the storm and your faith was questioned.
Okay. Um, I mean, yeah, I think my faith is tested a lot, you know. Uh, I'm trying to think of a specific time, but I think it's tested every day, you know, all the time. Uh, I remember when me and my wife was trying to have kids initially, and there was some issues there, and you know, I was really doubting myself, doubting God in a way. I wasn't praying as much, you know, I was kind of frustrated. We went to the doctor and had some well, she actually got some uh negative report or whatever. And you know, it had us both scared and questioning, you know, but they were able to give her some medicine. We changed our diet in a way, and God just, you know, He blessed us, and now we have 3 kids. So, um, but I feel like my faith gets tested all the time, and I just gotta, you know, keep that reassurance that God has my best interest at heart, that He's working everything out for my good, even when it's bad, even when it's, you know, painful, even when it's uncomfortable. To just know that ultimately He's either trying to do it for His glory or for my growth.
I like that. I like that. I like
so,
that.
But I think sometimes we just get so caught up in the moment, we just get so caught up in how we feel. I know I do. Sometimes I let my emotions get the best of me, and I just forget sometimes how good God is and how powerful he is and how faithful he is. And I just get caught up in what's happening to me, but I'm learning to do better, so.
No doubt. No doubt. I like that, man. Absolutely. And the thing is, the crazy thing I see, Chris, and the crazy thing is, we don't pick our storms. You know what I'm saying? We don't pick the storms that we go through. It just hit us. You know what I'm saying? Like they said in the men's group we're in, one of the brothers was saying that, if you ain't going through a storm right now, guess what? It's coming. That storm is coming your way. And the thing is, we don't know what kind of storm is coming. You know what I'm saying? We don't know, but we just know something is coming. If you're not going through a storm now, you're definitely going to go through one eventually, so go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, and so I want to dissect scripture, verse 36, and who they took on the boat with them. It's reading out the NLT version. They said, so they took Jesus in the boat and started leaving the crowds behind. And so when I think about Jesus, I think about the Prince of Peace. You took the Prince of Peace on the boat, you took peace on the boat with you, right? And this is before the problem came. You had the Prince of Peace on the boat with you, right? And so a lot of times, like I feel like, and I share with the guys all the time, everywhere I go, this is where Jesus sent me to be. Right, after all my prayers, after reading the word, after talking to God, like, and he sends me to these places, right? So we're already covered in good just by who sent us. We're already like, I know if I made a poor decision that had nothing to do with God, I can expect bad things to happen to me. But I know the disciples are probably feeling like I felt. I'm doing exactly what you told me, Lord. I'm doing exactly what you told me. We're supposed to be good. We're supposed to be good. But a situation came up. And things got kind of rocky. Right? And then that's when the disciples, Lord, screaming at him, screaming at him. But that's when they forgot who they had on the boat in the first place. And you could tell that they forgot, because at the end they said, who is this man? That's the Son of God they talking about. That's God's son that they talking about. They say, who is this man that he could quiet a storm? Jesus' identity didn't change. Let's go ahead and chime in on that one.
Yes, yeah, that right there, man. That's on point. That's definitely on point, man. Like you said, I mean, how do you have the Prince of Peace, and yet and still you're dealing with fear. It's not faith of a fear; it's fear of a faith. That's what they were going through. Like like Chris said, how do you have the Prince of Peace? I mean, how do you have? I mean, you witness all these miracles that he did right before your eyes, and yet and still you doubt. I'm pretty sure we all been guilty of that. I know I have. I know I definitely have, man. It's at one point in my life when things were good, it's like, thank you, Jesus. When things were bad, it's like, oh man, Jesus, where you at? Where you at, Jesus? I need you, Lord. I need you. And the thing is, the teacher is always quiet during the test. So a lot of times we feel like You know, he's so far away. You're crying out to Jesus. Where you at? You're screaming, I need you. All this time, I'm going through this. Where are you? You know where to be found. Where are you? But yet and still, the teacher is quiet during the test. I'm telling you, man, it's all I can say is, can nobody do you like Jesus? That's serious. Can nobody do you like Jesus, man? But is there anybody's got any feedback on this? On what Chris is saying? No feedback? Well, let's keep it going then. Okay, so
I got it.
now,
My bad, Larry. I was trying to raise my hand, but I was trying to get my mic unmuted. So we
go
were
ahead.
talking about this earlier too, because Chris and I we kind of were diving into this chapter right here. Well, not the whole chapter, but just the verses that you had displayed, bro. And it goes so hard. There's so much in these little passages that when you dissect it, it goes even harder. So you know, when Jesus woke up and when the disciples woke him up actually, and he rebukes the wind and the waves, you know. That was his anger that he had towards the wind and the waves, to the point that he rebuked it. My study guide says something about his authority over nature. This calming of the storm resembles his exorcism with demonic expression of violence, the command to be silent, and the resulting calm. Jesus binds the strong man and reclaims from his power the physical creation. So that's from my study guide on the New King James. The thing about that is that usually, like, you know, if you're in a deep slumber, if you're like really tired and you're sleeping, and somebody wakes you up, you're usually mad at the person. Jesus wasn't mad at the disciples per se. He was mad at what was causing them to feel that fear. So he rebuked what was scaring them. That's what he rebuked. He rebuked the fear. And so, like Chris and I were talking earlier, that's when we have to call on God. It's not for us to well, yeah, for us to feel protected, but for him to rebuke in his name what's causing us to fear. And that you know, that's where our faith has to come in, because like Jesus told them, he didn't say men of little faith. He said no faith. Like, you've already seen me do these things. No faith that you can do these things too. Which was, it's different, because in some other parts, he calls people of little faith. Um, uh, uh, when he was amazed, there's twice in the Bible where Jesus was amazed. One where he saw people with almost no faith, and then the other time is when he saw people with too much faith. So it says in the Bible that those were the times that he was amazed. And so he was like, no, have you no faith? No faith. Can you imagine having no faith at all? You know, to be on the boat with, again, the Prince of Peace, and thinking that they're gonna drown. No faith, you know. So I don't know. We were really dissecting these verses. And Chris was making a great point earlier too. The way he comes at it with the way he does the study guys, it really pulls out of it. Like I said, the way he dissects it is amazing. Anyway, thank you, Brother Chris. That was amazing, the way you shared that.
Yeah, yep. And you know what? And then in verse 39, and big up Eddie for sure. You know, and once again, man, everybody that's on line right now, we're so thankful. Thank you. We really do appreciate it. You know, so once again, you know, every Monday and Thursday, 8:00, you know, it goes down with the Zoom Bible study. You know what I mean? But just real quick, I just want to, you know, dive into verse 39 when it says, "Then the wind died down, and it was completely calm." Going back to what Chris was saying about the Prince of Peace. When you have the Prince of Peace in your boat, he can make everything calm. No matter what you're going through in your life, peace be still. He can make the oceans, he can make the wind stop roaring. Everything. Anything that you're going through in your life, whether it's some kind of sickness, whether it's some kind of addiction, whether it's some kind of you're stressing, you're worried, no matter what you're going through, all you got to do is just put it in God's hand and just go to sleep, just like Jesus did. Through all that, through everything around him, water in the boat, rain, storms, all kind of crazy stuff going in that ocean, but he just slept. He just slept. And then when he stood up and spoke, I think a lot of times we don't understand how powerful Jesus is. I mean, we serve a powerful God, man. For somebody to stand on the boat and say, quiet, be still, then everything stops. Everything stops. The waves stop roaring. The lightning, thunder start clashing. Everything stops. That's who we serve. So it's nothing too big for God. It's nothing too big for God. Everything bows to God. Everything bows down to God, whether it's sickness, financial problems, marital problems, children. Children, you have issues with your kids. You have stress, worry, diseases, whatever you're going through. Everything bows down to God. Everything bows. I just got to say that. But I mean, man, I can talk about God all day because it's just, he's God is everything. God is everything. If you don't have God, you don't have nothing, man. I'm telling you. All right. Anybody got anything else you want to say?
And I just put in the chat, since we was on verse 39, right? It said Jesus rebuked the wind in the seas. And I just put in the chat, we are seeing Jesus now rebuke unclean spirits. We are seeing him rebuke sickness with Peter's mother-in-law had a fever, a real bad fever, and Jesus rebuked the fever, right? And now he's rebuking stormy weather. And I know all of us on this Zoom has been through stormy weather. And I was just telling the guys yesterday that we had over here in Vegas, we had a wind 60 miles per hour tearing up stuff. And I was calling the guys and I was like, Larry's message is gonna be on fire because I I slept through all that.
Yes.
Like I'm hearing click clack things falling outside and stuff. And because I had this roof over my head, I knew none of that was gonna touch me. Right?
Right.
That's how we ought to feel. Like that was the natural look of what Jesus is for us spiritually, right? And all this click clack could go on, all these things could be bothering you, or be a distraction to you, but it ain't gonna touch you. It ain't gonna touch you because you're rolling with the Prince of Peace.
Absolutely. Absolutely. and you know what, Chris? To piggyback on what you just said, now I can imagine, Jesus in that boat, sleeping good. He knocked out, sleeping good. And then all of a sudden, when he heard his disciples saying, "Teacher, don't you care if we drown?" I can see Jesus right now. Oh, man, what? After everything y'all seen me do, y'all still question me, man? Oh, man. All right, let me get on that real quick, and let me just go ahead and tell this wind to stop. Let me go ahead and tell these waves to stop roaring. I mean, I can imagine. I can imagine the frustration. Like, you're seeing me. You're seeing me. Check this out. Now, with our own two eyes, yeah, we walk with Jesus in the spirit from the spiritual standpoint. But far as to actually be there to touch him, like the disciples did, to actually be there to touch him, hug him, in the physical. And you see every single thing that he did. They still had doubt. So imagine what we're going through when we never, from a spiritual standpoint, we hug, we love Jesus. But far as from a physical touching him, we never touched him. But that's faith, man. That's faith. To believe. That's faith that's based on not having a physical touch. But we still have faith in God. We still have faith in what he can do. We still have faith that no matter what we're going through, and as far as with a storm or whatever we're going through, we have faith knowing that God is going to provide. No matter what we go through. I'm pretty sure myself, everybody on this call has been through a storm. Like I said, I'm going through one. But you know what? Like Chris is saying, maybe we got a roof over our head. And I'm not talking about my house roof. I'm talking about the roof that Jesus covers us with.
That's good, boy.
Man, it's and you know, and one more thing too, before we get the last remarks, like Jeff was saying about the power of God, of Jesus. Now, in John 11:11, now Jesus, we talk about power. So in John 11:11, he said, after he said this, he went on to tell them, our friend Lazarus has fallen asleep, but I am going there to wake him. Do you know how powerful it is for someone to tell you? Because with my own two eyes, he's dead. He's been gone for a couple of days now. For 4 days now, he's gone. He's not here. But Jesus being who he is, all you got to do is touch the hem of his garment and you're made whole. But Jesus being who he is.
Hey,
Jesus being who he is. All you got to do is tell Lazarus, rise to come forth. That's power. We serve a sovereign God. We serve a sovereign God no matter what you're going through. We serve a sovereign God that can make a way out of no way. We serve. I witnessed it with my own two eyes. I witnessed the power of Jesus. I witnessed the power with my own two eyes. With my own two eyes. My brother's in a bad car accident, and I seen what happened in that car accident. I see how God moved. When the doctors counted him out, when they said that he won't live, he'll be blind. He can't walk again. He can't talk again. I witnessed that. Everybody counted him out. He would be a vegetable within 24 to 48 hours. He will never be able to do anything again. So I witnessed the power of God. I witnessed the power of God make him walk again. I witnessed the power of God made him see again. I witnessed the power of God made him come out of a coma. I witnessed the power of God when everybody counted him out. But man, as long as you got the Prince of Peace with you, you got everything. You don't have to worry about nothing. Nothing. I don't care about nothing. No matter where I go, no matter what I do, as long as we got the Prince of Peace with us, we fine. So let everything that you're going through right now, let it go. All that stress, all that pain, all that hurt, all that sickness, all that sorrow, everything that you're going through right now, let it go. Put it in God's hand and sleep. Just put it in his hand and sleep. He's gonna carry you. Like Audrey posted in the group about the footprint poem. Just put it in God's hand and just let him carry you while you sleep. Man, tonight is good. I love y'all, man. I definitely love y'all, man. You know,
this is why I love you.
Yeah, you know.
Hey, Eddie, can I, Larry, can I just chip in a little bit more, just a little bit more?
Go ahead.
Because James also, like, this is why reading your Bible is important. Because James tells us about these times. He's in James chapter 1, verse 2 and 3, he says, consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, when you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Right? So here we are, we going through our storm, we going through our stormy waiting, but if we look at it like, all right, Lord, you strengthening me. You making me better as I go through this. I gotta go through this to elevate myself with you. Watch how those things that you thought was bothering you, those things that you thought was getting into you, slip off your shoulder and make you stick out your chest like this. You know what I mean? Because because it says count at all joy.
Yes.
The tests and trials that you go through, when you go through tribulations and these trials, like, it's an opportunity It's an opportunity for you to shine and give and even better yourself. Like you're like, all right, because we know God's going to get us through it. He still got us here. He still got us here. He didn't call us home to glory.
Yep.
Like our work is finished is our work is finished is when we are called home to glory, right? So everything that we feel sucks for us, the situation that we feel sucks for us, is better in us, really. And it's not just for us. We could go drop these dimes, drop these educations for other people. Dog, I've been through this. Let me help you out a little bit. Let me share with you how I got through it so we could get through this together. He's strengthening us. He's getting us prepared. We enduring in this race. Everything that we go through. All right, I got you.
At this point, Chris,
Hey.
at this point in the verse, how far along are they in the ministry? Because I just got a great question right now. How far along are they in the ministry to question Jesus, not as God, but as saying, who is this man? At this point, they've seen some miracles, but they haven't really connected that this is the Messiah. Am I correct in that, or how far along are they?
Right. So I was talking to Eddie earlier, right? This stage of Jesus rebuking the water led to Peter later on in the chapter say, Lord, if that's you, bid me to come so I can walk on the water too.
Was
you
that
see how
before
that's
or after?
y'all see that?
After.
That's after this situation, but if this situation never happened, would Peter ever say, Lord, bid me to come, that I could walk on the water with you? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, that's how this strength works. That's how the strength works. Well, shoot, I haven't seen this man quiet the storm. Now I'm watching my Lord walk on water. Oh yeah, Lord, tell me to come, Lord. Look, he wasn't gonna go. He wasn't gonna go until Jesus said, "Come on." Though Peter wasn't no fool. He
But he
wasn't
had
gonna
heart.
go.
He had heart though. He the only one that had the heart. You know, to even step out on faith. You know.
Right.
Yeah, you know.
Lord,
So,
but think about it. This moment led to Peter later on saying, "Lord, bid me to come and walk on that water with you, so I can show him I did that too."
yep, absolutely. All right, hey y'all. Well, check it out. I like where we left off. We're gonna pick back on that. What you just said. We're gonna pick that back up, Chris. We're gonna pick it up. So once again, everybody that's on the line, thank y'all. You know, we definitely appreciate you all day. You know, we got Brother Stan, we got Marty, you know, representing Cali. We got Kyle in the building. We got the iPhone 17. I think that's Eddie Mother. How you doing? once again, you know, and we got wifey in the building, Tamara. And we got my partner Chris, my boy Eddie, David in the building. And you know, once again, man, we're just so thankful for everything that's happening. We thankful for y'all to be in the building right now. Just, because we're all growing, we're all learning.